You can do everything. You can lay out every point. You can really like be well researched and like on it and practical, and you still can't win. And that's
Mhm.
kind of how it feels like the Mavericks are right now. Like,
It's bad.
wow. I mean, every time it looks like, okay, this is the turn that they're making. The Celtics just are too deep. And to your point, their depth being shown right now. We came into this series talking about the dynamic duos and what they were going to do. And it's really been the other guys for the Celtics that have factored so prominently.
I mean, I was just last week years old when I was like, the Mavericks have the best player on the planet, which they do in Luka, and he's shown that. And I said they also have the best tandem in this series. So I'm batting 500, Elle, which will still get me into the Hall of Fame, but that latter take has now made me take a seat in the Hall of Shame because Kyrie Irving, even though, the outward bravado is, it should have been louder in here, TD Garden, that's behind me. I'm 32 now. I've matured. I don't care. I'm in my thing. I'm in my zone. I'm in my element. Whatever element that is, it is an MIA. He's gone milk carton. He's gone missing. I mean, it hasn't been impressive. He's the best distributor of the basketball in our generation, and he's not distributing or scoring like we anticipated that he would. And credit to the Celtics for winning this championship. At least it's what it's shaping up to look like in the offseason by bringing in Derek White and by bringing in Jrue Holiday, who was yesterday's hero in the Game 2 win.
Yeah. They 100% could have said, like, we're going to just keep trying running this thing back. Or the other thing that everyone had been imploring them to do, blow this thing up. Don't give Jaylen Brown max contract money. The man can't dribble to his left. Why would you do that? Like, da 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 da. They just can't get it done. And instead, they said, we're all in on this. We're going to give, Jason is the face of our franchise. Him and Jaylen have a great rapport and a great relationship. We're going to keep trying and building around that, bringing in more defense, bringing in these like key parts. I mean, that's the point, is that it's not for a lack of trying by Kyrie. He's just he's being
Mm-hmm.
guarded. I mean, he is going up against an absolute defensive stalwart, and they're able to get, to your point, that depth so that when they do, because we have seen stretches where Jason Tatum's gone quiet and gone a bit cold, right? But there's someone else to sort of step up in their absence. And it also helps that right now the Mavs really are playing sort of a one-man band situation with Luka having to do a little bit of everything just to keep them close. And that's the worst part, Gare Bear, is that like these games aren't particularly close.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday being closer down the stretch, but I think that's been the frustrating part, is that just for swaths of time, it's just the Celtics dominating this team on every single level.
So the series now shifts to Dallas. Do you think, it was a hypothetical that I was running through my head yesterday, the fans of Dallas sport would rather have the Mavericks win this NBA Finals, come back from an 0-2 hole, or get the Cowboys to an NFC Championship game? Not a Super Bowl, because obviously they would take that. Texas, football state, Dallas, obviously a Cowboys country, but to have that level of success with the Cowboys or win the ultimate prize in the NBA for the Mavericks. What do you think they would choose right now?
They don't give a about the NBA. I think
They
just
say
to
second
get
round of the
to a,
playoffs.
yeah,
They would
just
say,
to
just
get right. Like they
take me
won
to
like
the
not
conference.
that long ago, right? Like this generation won with the Mavs. Like they know it's the Cowboys. It's America's team, and they haven't won since the mid 90s, since I was in elementary school. They want the best shot that they would have had, which would be putting them in the comp. And I actually believe, because you're right, Super Bowl for NBA Finals, that's not even close. But I still believe that they would rather just make a conference championship game in football than win a title in basketball.
You think
I
they would?
do.
Okay. Let's dumb it down even more. Let's boil it down even more. Forget that. An NBA title or extend Dak Prescott.
An NBA title.
Oh, okay. So that's where they draw the line. They're like, yo, we love the Cowboys, but honestly, Dak, we're not really sold on what you can or have yet to do.
Correct. Like
That'll
there's
set
still
him
too
back
much
even
of it.
more years.
Once you get them to a conference championship, anything can happen, but Cowboys fans just need to get them there. So I think the promise of at least getting there and then saying anything could happen is better than just saying, I'm going to give up this title, thinking that Dak Prescott can take us someplace that he's had many years to take them to and has not yet.
All that being said, this series is over, right?
This series is over. I don't believe it'll be a sweep. I do think it's going to go back to Boston. I
I
think they'll
hope
be
so. Boston's been
supercharged.
rocking the last couple of games. I was there for hoop streams. It was a good vibe. People seem to be nice. People, listen, it was loud game one, and the Kyrie soundbite, when I heard him say that the next morning on SportsCenter, we ran, I was like, you know what? He's actually He's actually kind of right. And we did
I
this whole
wondered, was he just trolling or was he right that they weren't that loud?
they weren't that loud. And I think what it has become too is like finals ticket prices have gotten to an extent where like those fans who be yelling stuff, they're priced out. You know what I'm saying? Just sort of like how the lower bowl at Yankee Stadium or how the Super Bowl has become like a corporate event, right? For like these
Yeah.
people with lined pockets, and it's sort of this VIP clientele and 70,000, people who are into sports but aren't into sports like that. I think there's been shades of that in the NBA finals. I will say yesterday when he did come out of the tunnel, they were loud, but they were even more loud when Kristaps Porzingis came out for warmups. They were louder for KP than they were for when Paul Pierce came down the stairs, when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown came out to warm up. And I think that's just the fans recognizing that KP was like their hero in game one, even though he came up a little bit limp in game two. So that's going to be a question mark going in to game three.
I've got one for you since you were, of course, in Boston. You covered Boston sports and then you assimilated and became a Boston sports fan despite being from Denver. Do you think that Boston sports fans would trade
Here we
this
go.
NBA championship for a Super Bowl this year, their first Super Bowl with Tom Brady, as just a way to officially put that demon behind them? Do you think they would trade a Super Bowl championship this year for the NBA finals this year?
No, because the expectations are so limbo bar low right now for the Patriots that even they recognize that's just a hypothetical that's not even worth considering, because the Celtics have been knocking on the door for so long